What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. Now, I'm gonna play this video. This is Caleb Plant. He's being asked about the Canelo fight, the potential fight anyway. You know, with him and Canelo. Now, this video is about 17 minutes and 55 seconds long. Of course, we're not going to sit and listen to the whole thing. I'm going to take it to about the 6 minute, little over 6 minute mark. You guys can check the video out, yourself, the whole video. It was a good interview, and I just want to focus on what Caleb had to say. And then I'm going to go into some of the comments, because I want to show you guys how disconnected people are from reality. How someone can listen to a video and their comments have absolutely nothing to do with what was actually said, and just to see their bias and their ignorance. So we're going to point these things out. Then you have some people who are paying attention. So let's pick it up from here.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Marcos Villegas, being joined with the IBF super middleweight champion of the world, the undefeated Caleb Plant. Caleb, man, fight over the weekend, obviously. Vested interest, Canelo Alvarez stopping Billy Joe Saunders. What'd you make of the fight, and how'd you see the fight play out in your opinion?
I mean, Canelo, he got the win. The first round I felt like Billy won, more so because Canelo wasn't, doing too much just off activity. I felt like Billy won. And Canelo started to take over, but then in those latter rounds, I felt like Billy really started to settle in and almost kind of find his rhythm. And it almost went from, Canelo dictating the pace and kind of dictating what was happening to it looked like, Billy started dictating the pace and kind of dictating what was happening. So,
did you feel that Billy was winning the fight? Did you think it was a lot closer than what the cards had it?
Maybe a little bit closer, but I don't think he was winning. No.
How'd you have it?
I off the top of my head, I don't really remember, but when did he get stopped in the what?
The eighth round.
The eighth round. I mean, he may have had like 3 of those rounds.
Yeah, that was close to mine.
3 rounds.
Yeah, I had it 5-3 by the time of the stoppage, but a lot of people felt that his jab should have been given more credit in some of those rounds to win those rounds.
Yeah, but also with the right hand and the southpaw, for the most part, the jab's not going to be as as relevant. So, but yeah, he was landing some nice jabs.
What'd you make overall of Canelo's approach to that style, and then the way Saunders fought in the fight, like game plan wise?
Again, I felt like Billy came out and was more active in the first round, and then in those latter part of the rounds, he started to dictate, and but he ran into a shot, and that's what happened. Anybody can run into a big shot, and that was it. So.
Yeah, the thing with Canelo, I think with a lot of the opponents is the power, and he's able to back these guys up. And for like parts of the fight, they're just trying to avoid getting hit by Canelo because of his power.
Yeah. I mean, I've yet to be in there with him. So from the outside, a lot of these guys, some of their boxing ability isn't the best either. So.
It's almost too, I've heard other trainers say this, is like there's a sort of, they say fear, that they fear Canelo, but not in the way like they're scared to fight him, but they fear of like how a fight could end up playing out if they do anything cute or stay in there with him in the pocket for too long.
Well, you might have lost that fight if you already stepped in there then, if that's your mindset and your mentality, going into something like that. You can't play to not lose. You know what I'm saying? You got to play to win. And I feel like a lot of these guys, they get in there and they're not playing to win, they're playing to not lose. And when you're playing like that, it's just a matter of time, so.
Obviously with the interviews that I've done with you, you don't share that mentality. You've been saying for not even the past year, I remember when I first brought up the potential for this fight to you maybe 2.5 years ago, you told me back then, like, hey, I can win this fight. I see myself fighting Canelo. Before we speak on that, I know Saunders got a lot of flack by the way the fight was stopped because of the comments that he said about Daniel Dubois, about the orbital bone. Just give me your insight as a fighter or someone who does take punches for a living about what the fans are saying about that.
You know,
What's
I don't know about taking. I don't know about taking punches like
well,
that.
you don't take a lot of punches like that, but you do take punches for a living. You're a professional boxer, though. Not a lot of people are able to hit you clean.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I never had my orbital bone broke, so you know, it'd be that's something. Me personally, you know, I'm not going to speak on that too much because I haven't had it broke. I don't know what it's like to be in that position, so I don't know. So,
do you think the heat that he's getting is fair, given the comments, or do you think people need to chill with that? Because at the end of the day, like, to me personally, I don't think a fight is worth someone losing their eye over.
I mean, it'd be more acceptable for you to say that and for you to feel that way, though. You know what I'm saying? Because no knock against you, because you do the sport a lot of good, but because you don't fight, you know, your mentality is going to be slightly different. And even a lot of other fighters would feel like you and think like you, but there are a select few who may disagree with that and feel like that it's not worth it. And I feel like that I'm one of those guys, and one of those select. And so, you know, as far as him catching flack or being called a quitter from other people who don't know what it's like to feed their families with their hands, that's too much. You can't say that because you don't know what it's like to step between those ropes. Now, if he's catching flack because he gave Daniel what's his name shit, and then it turned around and happened to him, and now he's like, you know what I'm saying? That makes a little more sense. It's like, hey, you was giving this guy shit, but you did the same thing. So don't speak on something if you're not willing to, you know what I'm saying? But that's really all, you know. That's as much as I can speak on that because, you know, I've never had that happen to me.
No, you know, it's an important thing for someone like you to speak on, you know, because obviously, you know, fans, we could judge and say things from the outside, but you're a guy that lives and breathes this, you know, so I think your insight is a lot more knowledgeable, more insightful in situations like that.
A lot more validated as well. So, you know, as far as, you know, if people want to give him shit because he gave Daniel a hard time, then he deserves that. You feel what I'm saying? That's at least a reasonable response to what happened to him. But as far as people calling him a quitter or anything like that, when you can never do, you know, you couldn't even do what he did, much less what I can do. So that would be too much.
Yeah, you know, I understand where the comments are coming from, but like I mentioned, you know, at the end of the day, like, to me at least, you know, because you said, you know, you see it differently because you do have that mentality, you know, you know, you got to live with the consequences of that for the rest of your life. You know, we're not there paying your medical bills. We're not there to, you know, seeing you with an eye patch for the rest of your life and all that.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, I've even heard rumors that he didn't want it to stop and his corner pulled the plug. But, you know, again, as far as fans calling him quitters, you know, out of how many of those fans who watch boxing, when's the last time one of the fans reached out to Gerald McClellan and checked in on him? You know what I'm saying? How many? None.
Facts.
So, you know, if you want to give him a friendly reminder of what he said to Daniel, he probably deserves that shit. But, you know, anything other than that, it's out of their league.
Now, speaking of this fight, Caleb, I know you did an interview a few days ago where you felt that the comparisons between you and Saunders are completely wrong. You know, obviously you're not a southpaw, and I feel that even though you are defensive, you're slick, and you could box and you could punch also as well. You know, you're a different fighter than Saunders. What do you make of people saying that, you know, similarly, like style-wise, you and Saunders are the same, and that fight could play out similarly?
Just ignorance, you know what I'm saying? You know, in the famous words of the Black Mamba.
Roger.
And, you know, from the outside, you know, a lot of people these days, they're casual fans. And casual fans tune into boxing or show up to boxing events for two things, and that's the event and the knockout. And anything deeper than that, you know, they're probably not going to be able to grasp, you know, at least not too much. So, again, as far as comparing me to Billy Joe Saunders in a list of ways is just disrespectful. Our dedication to the sport, I mean, I even heard him in an interview. It might have been with Michelle Joy Phelps or somebody, I can't remember. You know, he even said, you know, a lot of people say that outside of training camp, I don't live right, or maybe I don't train the best, but I'm here now. But you would never hear me say that because that's not how, you know, that's him and how he handles his business and what he wants to do. And, but that's not how I handle my business. Anybody who knows me knows that I stay in shape. They know that I keep my weight in check. They know I live a disciplined life. You know, Billy Joe Saunders, he's quick, but he's not explosive. You know, I punch harder than him. I'm bigger than him. I'm taller than him. My reach is longer than his. My footwork's better than his. And I just, you know, there's a whole list of reasons, and I could go on and on of reasons why we're not the same fighter.
Now, I'm going to stop it right there because basically, like I said, it's a good interview, 17 minutes and 55 seconds long. I'm going to stop it right there. Now, what I want to do, I want to go into some of the comments. Now, the rest of this interview, I watched the whole thing already, and I started to just do the you know, I'm gonna just do the video and speak about what he said, but I wanted y'all to hear at least that much. You know, he's gonna ask him, I'm not gonna give it away, you know, but he's gonna ask him about what would make it different for him to fight Canelo, you know, what would he do different and things like that. And, you know, he's not going to give it away. He's, like you said, just when we fight, tune in and see which is the right answer. You know, why would you give your game plan away, right? Now, based on what you guys just heard, and I want you to just, I'm going to read some of these comments to y'all. I want to show you, like I said at the beginning, how disconnected people are from reality. But I want you to hear this, okay? And then, of course, this is on Fight Hub TV, okay? So, someone puts, everyone has a plan until they get hit by Canelo. So basically, Caleb is not supposed to have a plan or have confidence in himself. He's supposed to sit here pretty much and say, hey, I know I can't beat Canelo, and I'm just honored that he's going to kick my ass next. I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope that, you know, Puff the Magic Dragon comes by and, you know, give me some of his magical powers so I can somehow mysteriously just overcome Canelo. I'm not a professional fighter that train my ass off every day, you know, to be the best that I can be. So no, I should have fear of Canelo. What do you guys expect Billy Joe Saunders to say? And the thing is, the guy's not a shit talker. He answers questions. You know what I'm saying? He's confident in himself, but you never hear him just bash a fighter and talk down on the fighter. But you know, that's people for you. Okay, and then here comes monkey see, monkey do. Everybody has a plant until they get punched in the face. Right. He had to wait a week to get brave enough to say that. Well, this guy interviewed him. It's not like he just made a random video and started saying these things. He's being asked questions. So why would it have to take him a week to say something like you know, this is a Fight Hub TV interview. You see the ignorance, what I'm saying, how people respond to things, but they don't think before they even talk. And the thing is, it shows that, like, these people are just ignorant. Trying to understand the idiosyncrasies of people is, like, really puzzling at times, because it's just like, damn, it's like, how stupid can you be? The man is being interviewed, he's answering questions, and your response is he had to wait a week to get brave enough to say that. Okay, so someone goes, Caleb Plant after the fight. I got caught with a good shot. It can happen to anyone. Ha, 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 ha. All right. I'm a star. Caleb Plant. Last 3 fights were against Chipotle employees. Saunders didn't luckily run into a shot. Canelo had been pinpointing the distance and timing beforehand. That's why he gave away the previous rounds. Canelo didn't give away anything. Canelo, from the very first round, was punishing Billy Joe Saunders to the body. And he had a plan to break him down. What are you even talking about? Okay, Caleb Plant never once, and I'm telling you guys, not once in this video did he say, oh, he ran into a lucky shot. But listen to the response. Saunders didn't luckily run into a shot. Caleb never said that. So it's really like, it just like, it's one of these things where sometimes you really want to just mute comments because it's like people are so stupid, man, in their responses. He had been pinpointing the distance and timing. First of all, from the early rounds, he was trying to break him down to the body. He was just walking him down. Let me see how I can do with this. And, you know, Saunders kind of stood in front of him for a little bit. He moved a little, but he was moving, but he was kind of standing there at times. And Caleb never said he ran into it. He said he got caught with a shot. He didn't say anything. The word look didn't even come out of his mouth about that. So again, people just respond with stupid things. Okay. Think people are forgetting Canelo. Think people are forgetting Canelo said 7, 8, 9 round KO. He called it. Okay. Canelo can't fuck with me. Yeah. Okay. Basically, here's a fighter who's being asked about a fight with another fighter. How you see it going. And again, like I said, I guess Caleb is supposed to sit here and be fearful of Canelo. Okay. It must be terrifying to know that you're the next sacrifice to the Aztec god of war. Here's a grown man calling another man of God. An Aztec god of war. Worshipping this guy. Canelo was a great fighter, man. Damn, that's not good enough. The Aztec god of war. You're calling another man a god. Okay. You guys remember what Caleb Plant said in reference to the orbital bone being broken by, Canelo breaking Billy Joe Saunders' orbital bone, and how the fans who can sit here and criticize. Haven't I said the same thing in my videos? When is the last time you guys had a fight, right? But always sitting up on the couch, stuffing your face, drinking beers, jumping up, screaming, calling people bitches and pussies and soft, and oh, this motherfucker's a bum, he's a quitter, right? What did he say? You guys can't do what he did, right? So to even say that, right? And he said, I can't really speak on that because I never had that happen to me. And he said, he agreed that the fight is not worth somebody losing their eye. You heard Caleb say that, right? Now listen to this response. This guy says he can't comment because he's never had his eye socket broken, but then says he wouldn't have quit if he had his eye socket broken. Caleb Plant never said that. This whole video, I'm telling you guys, I watched the whole video. He never once said that. He never once said that. Let me see. Let me see what the response was. Okay. So somebody responded and said, that is so not what he said. The disabled and those with learning disabilities should be barred from YouTube. I agree. Because he never even said that. So what this guy, whatever the hell this guy's talking about, it had nothing to do with what Caleb actually said. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Look, that's enough of this. Because this is like people are just saying, Okay, well, I'll read this one. So someone says, yeah, he didn't say that at all. He said that he's not had it happen to him, so he cannot comment. And that other fighters may say that because it's the fighter mentality, but Billy Joe Saunders basically will have the flack coming his way if he said the same about Daniel Dubois, which is what he basically said, that yeah, if you're giving him a friendly reminder about, hey, him saying that to Daniel Dubois, that he probably deserved that shit. That's what Caleb said. Caleb never once said, well, that was me, I wouldn't have quit. He said he doesn't. He clearly said he feels like, yeah, he agreed with the guy that it's not worth losing your eye, but he said he can't really comment on that because he never had it happen to him. Okay. This is what I mean, people. You can sit here and clearly say, today's video is going to be about math and science. I repeat, today's video is going to be about math and science. Somehow, somebody who sat here and watched you say that, someone will say, what is this video about today? Oh, they're talking about foot fungus and sweaty man ass. Oh, really? Are you sure? Yeah, I heard him. I was listening. This is exactly what people do. They hear you say one thing and completely go left with what you actually said. And for you to actually come up with this guy said that he can't speak on it because he never had it happen, but then says he wouldn't quit. What were you watching? These guys got to stop doing drugs or something, man. Like something is wrong. And to be honest with you, I'm not even going to get this bum any light. But this same guy, I recognize him. His stupid photo, his profile picture came on my channel several times. He came on our channel and made ignorant comments. And I had actually worked, I remember telling this guy, what are you smoking, bro? Or what are you sticking in your veins? Like, if you listen to what I said, take the Tootsie Roll out your goddamn ear. Your response has nothing to do with what I said. I don't know what the hell you talking about. I remember getting at this guy, and I'm looking, and I'm like, yeah, he's one of the trolls that go from channel to channel that just says dumb stuff. Like anything he says, it never makes any sense. Caleb Plant never once said that. Now, let me just say this, to sum up the video. Caleb Plant, okay, and Canelo Alvarez is supposed to basically fight at some point because they both won undisputed. Now, of course, they have to go through each other to make that happen. Caleb Plant won his title on his 17th fight, just like AJ did. 16th for AJ, I think it was, or the 17th. Where was all these other fighters? No, most of these guys try to go after a title when they're like, 30-0, or, some of them get it. Some of them get it. You get fighters that get it in their, get it early. They get it in the low 20s, or some of them mid 20s. But let's just be real. Most of the time with these guys, man, they're getting titles when they're like 20, at least 25 fights in, 30 fights in. Caleb Plant did it at his 17th fight. So even when you watch Caleb Plant and you compare him to Canelo and say, he ain't fought nobody like Canelo. No, he hasn't. He hasn't. And at the same time, he doesn't even have half the fights that Canelo's had. Okay? He's up and coming. He's a talented fighter. He's highly skilled. Can he beat Canelo? That's what we want to see. That's what we want to find out. Can he? We want to see the fight. If you're going to sit here and say, oh, this guy's going to get killed, oh, he doesn't belong in the ring with Canelo, again, well, then who in the fuck is it that Canelo can fight? Because obviously you guys have a list of fighters, a list, some list of superhuman fighters that we just don't know that he can fight. Because first off, Demetrius Andre ain't good enough to fight Canelo. He's a bum. Okay. Jamal Charlo's not good enough to fight Canelo. He's a bum. Okay. Billy Joe Saunders never belonged in the ring with Canelo. He's a bum. Okay. Caleb Plant doesn't belong in the ring with him. He's a bum. Okay. Benavidez is overrated. He hasn't fought anybody. He doesn't belong in the ring with Canelo. He's a bum. So who is it that he's supposed to fight? Who? I guess you are probably the same people that want to see Canelo versus Triple G for a third time. So if all these guys are bums and shouldn't be in the ring with him, then I guess there's nothing left for Canelo to do but retire. Because obviously he has no challenges left. So every single person that, Canelo's going to fight, they don't belong in the ring because they're top-notch guys. But if he fights a Yildirim, oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean, lost for words. So what do you guys expect Caleb Plant to say? What is he supposed to feel? Is he supposed to sit there and be afraid of Canelo? Is he supposed to sit there and cross his fingers and hope that he can win? Or does he go train his ass off and fight? And prepare. Get in the ring and then do the best he can do to win and secure that fight. To go in there and fight tooth and nail with Canelo, or at the end of the day, it's a fight that should happen. And these kind of ignorant comments shows you the mentality of the people who sit here and watch. Now, Caleb pointed out something that I've been saying for a long time. And I'm talking way back since Pernell Whitaker. Casual fans want to come for the knockout. Come for all the excitement of the fight, just the, the build up and all, and then the knockout. They don't understand and appreciate solid technical skills. So before they was even booing Floyd and just hating on Floyd, they were saying the same thing about Pernell Whitaker, man. And I clearly remember people saying Pernell is a very clever, crafty boxer, but they was criticizing him for the lack of knockouts. They was criticizing him, for boxing and moving and not standing right in front of you. But it was more accepted back then than it is now. But because of people like Iron Mike Tyson and Julio Cesar Chavez, who was known for knocking people out, and of course they had fights that went the distance, but they were known for getting knockouts, and people just got molded into this whole knockout craze. And so the more casual fans that you have in anything, they're the ones who have the most to say. So for someone who can box and move and do things that, like, whatever the situation needs, need for you to be able to adapt to, when you can do that, he's running. So basically, if Caleb Plant is out boxing Canelo, and especially if he's making him look bad, he can't get to him, and he's using his physical gifts, his long reach, his height, his foot movement, his boxing ability, his ring IQ. If he's using these things, he's running. So what he's supposed to do to make, satisfy people who, for one, want to see him get knocked out, he's supposed to stand there and just go toe to toe. See, if you watch bare knuckle brawling, this is what they do. Toe to line. Stand there, fight. And basically, most of you shoot down bare knuckle brawls. All these guys are bums. All they do is stand there and throw punches. When you calling these guys bums, 99.9% of y'all wouldn't have had a heart to go in there and fight not one of those bare knuckle brawlers. But they're bums. So when you're saying these things, it's like, for me, instead of just appreciating a good fight or wanting to see a good fight, no, you're so quick to go choose sides and he's going to do this, he's going to do that. You're calling another man a god. I'd be goddamn if I would call anybody no fucking god, king, master, none of that shit. You guys have no problem. No problem with bowing to these guys. Oh, he's a god, he's this, he's so that. You guys sound like you have wet dreams or something thinking about these fighters, man. Y'all go way too far. You call yourselves fans. I'm not a fan of anybody's, bro. I appreciate, I respect, and that's about it. And at the end of the day, it's like, for me, you're just a man. So even though you got people calling Canelo unbeatable, there's no fighter that's unbeatable. There's no fighter that's unbeatable. The only fighter that should be unbeatable to you is yourself. And not because you have an ego, but because you train your ass off in every area to make sure you don't lack anything. So when you're sitting here calling another fighter unbeatable, well, do you expect Caleb to see Canelo like that? Do you think Canelo walks around thinking that there's somebody within these weight classes that he feels comfortable in winning? Do you think that he feels any of them can beat him? Well, if he doesn't fight certain guys, like Demetrius Andre or Charlo or Benavidez, well, to me it looks like, well, you don't want that smoke. Why? Right? But regardless, if he's going to get in there, he has to go in there feeling like, I'm going to beat Jamal Charlo. I'm going to beat Demetrius Andre. I'm going to beat Benavidez. Okay? I'm going to beat these guys. Not going up there thinking that you're going to lose. Caleb said something also that makes sense. He said how these guys, they don't go in there, they go in there to not lose, but they don't go in there to win. And like he said, and I agree, that a lot of these guys, their boxing skills not all that good. See, Caleb Plant is underrated as far as I'm concerned. I've been saying this for the longest. We're trying to find out if he can beat Canelo. Aries is not that guy that's going to sit here and guarantee you what this guy's going to do, what that guy's going to do. No, I'm not sitting here idol worshiping these guys. I just want to see a great fight. Okay, and regardless to who wins, the whole thing is this. I'm not even sitting here saying I want Caleb to win or I want Canelo to win. I just want to see a great fight. I'm a guy who observes. I'm not a fan. You guys are the fans, not me. Okay, I'm an observer. So I sit back and I watch and I like Caleb Plant as a fighter. His mentality, the way he thinks, I like Canelo as a fighter. You understand what I'm saying? And when I look at the two and to see them going in. Hey, this is what we want to see. I don't give a shit about your opinions about who you think is going to win and how you can sit here and guarantee victory. And I don't care about none of that bull crap, man. I didn't create this channel so I can sit here and let people try to tell me, oh, that their opinions are facts. I don't know who's going to win. Again, I look at the strengths of each fighter, weaknesses that may be there, vulnerabilities, and I look at that and I'm like, okay, what do I always say? I look at what these guys have. It comes down to how you put it together come fight night, which is why we always have upsets, because people come and you think because of what he did, this guy did to this guy, it's automatic that he's going to do it to this guy, and then all of a sudden they get in the ring and it doesn't go that way, and you're trying to figure out what went wrong. And a lot of times, like I said before, it's not what we consider upsets is not always upsets. The problem is people say one thing. If someone tells you a certain fighter is not supposed to beat this guy, you go with that. So when it backfires, it's like, oh, it was an upset. No, that guy was already better than this guy. You know, I remember when Chad Dawson was fighting on HBO. Andre Ward was on Showtime. And I'm watching both fighters, and I remember clearly saying, man, this guy Chad Dawson doesn't impress me. I think he's decent, but I feel like Andre Ward is that guy. Andre Ward was that dude, man. Well, Max Kellerman loves calling somebody a monster. The monster is such and such. He's just obliterating opponents, and you start going into that word salad, you know, decimating his opponents, you know, blowing his opponents to smithereens. Yeah, right. It all sounds good. Suffering succotash, Max. Yeah. So they all sit up here and make these fighters to be like they're immortals or something. And I'm like, man, I don't see Chad Dawson having nothing that Andre Ward can't handle. What happened when they fought? He outboxed him and smacked him around so bad, this dude went down, and the referee asked him if he want to continue. And Chad Dawson clearly said, nah, I'm done. And he quit. Not because of a broken eye socket, a broken rib, nothing. Not, I'm dehydrated, yo, my legs are weak, I can't, no. My heart's pumping Kool-Aid right now. I can't beat this guy. That's why he quit. But if you listen to Max Kellerman and listen to the HBO commentary team, they made it sound like Chad Dawson was unbeatable. Well, when Andre Ward did what he did, they gave him his props, but they always tried to find a way to knock Andre Ward. You know what I'm saying? And what excuse do you have for Chad Dawson? No, Andre Ward just whooped his ass. Now, if they never fought, because at the time HBO was the big leagues, Showtime was, you know, the B show, HBO was the A show. Yeah, not that I ever believed that, but in terms of numbers and popularity and how people saw fighters, yeah, that's how they thought. If you was on HBO, you was at the top. You was mega. Showtime is you know, the B show. If you're good, but you're not as talented as the HBO fighters. This is how people saw it. It was like comparing WCW to WWE or something like that. Like it was like, no, it's boxing, man. What are you talking about? So what ends up happening, if they wouldn't have fought, the majority of the people would have been saying Chad Dawson is better than Andre Ward. Not because when they watch them fight, they think that Chad Dawson is better, but because the commentary team on the A show said he was. That's what casual fans do. Now, I'm going to say this, and I don't care about your predictions. You can have them. That's your opinions. I really don't care. But I know what I've seen Caleb do. And for his accomplishments, and for him to be champion on only his 17th fight, I don't care about him being 28 or if he was 22, 21. It doesn't matter. The skill level, your ring IQ. Look at people seem to forget. Look at Tank Davis. Look at what he's accomplished in his career at a young age. Look at Devin Haney. Look at Teofimo Lopez. How old is he? 23. And he just beat Lomachenko. But certain fighters, oh, he wasn't in his prime yet. You know, he doesn't have half the fights. He only had half the fights than what Canelo had. Teofimo I'm talking about, okay, when he beat Lomachenko. And Lomachenko was pound for pound. Remember, they had Canelo at number 2. They had Lomachenko at number 1, pound for pound. Lomachenko's the guy till he lost to Teofimo Lopez. And it was saying arguably Lomachenko and Canelo. And again, man, we know that Canelo can fight. We know Lomachenko can fight. All those guys that we know they can fight. But the fans, the fanboys, the fangirls, they make such pointless arguments to try to defend their fighters, the fighters that they like. And I'm just like, I don't think the way y'all do. So, miss me with that. That's a conversation for somebody else. You can't tell me there's nobody on this earth that'll beat my ass and I'm going to sit here and go, yeah, you could be right. No, fuck you and fuck that fighter. Show me. Show me you can beat me. So why in the hell would you go in the ring afraid of your opponent? Well, if you go in there thinking like that, you're already going to lose. So if you go in there trying to not lose, but you're not trying to win, you're going to do enough to just say, I didn't get knocked out. I went the distance. And there's going to be a lot of holding, one punch hold, 1-2 hold, 1 punch hold, move, hold, move, hold, 1 punch hold. This is what you're going to get. You can't fight for the fans. You have to fight for yourself. If you think that you're going to satisfy people, nah. The fans is just like this. Beverage in one hand, popcorn in the other. More blood, more blood. Not one of them motherfuckers can save you. Just like Caleb said, all these people that's sitting there shitting on Billy Joe Saunders, how many of y'all have actually reached out to Gerald McClellan? You know what's so funny? I've been saying this shit for a long time now. From the time I started this channel, I've had conversations like that in videos. So when I hear Caleb say that, I'm like, yeah, salute, because that brother's showing me he has a brain in his head. And he knows the same thing. Look at all the people that, if you think about it, what is the hatred towards Caleb Plant? What is he supposed to do? Go in there and lay down for people? What is he supposed to do? Is he not supposed to be confident? This man's daughter died before her 2nd birthday. You imagine how that feels to a person? And that fueled this man to go in the ring and fight. He became world champion. But he didn't become world champion and say, I'm going to lay down for people. So even though, he became world champion, he only has, 19, 20 fights, something like that now? So think about what I'm saying. He still has growing to do. So to even sit here and say, oh, he's not on the same level as Canelo, he doesn't have enough fights, he holds a title that Canelo needs to be undisputed, right? So what is your argument? If the guy fights somebody other than Canelo, he's running, he's ducking. Okay, he says he wants to fight Canelo, he's not ready. You can't make idiots happy, and you shouldn't try. So, for this man to go in there, that doesn't mean he's going to win every fight because of the situation with his daughter, but it fuels him. And I'm pretty sure, man, there's probably times right now, man, he probably think about her and have tears coming down, man, because, that's his daughter. And she's not here to see, be a part of that. So whatever fuels this man to keep going, hey, so be it. But even you could take stories that people have that, tragedies in their life. We look at Deontay Wilder's daughter, had that disease and him, mentally just like, I could imagine how that would make a person feel. I love my kids. Just the thought of anything happening to them, I already know how I feel. So I get angry when I think about something happening to kids, period. Anybody's kid, but especially your own. You're like, nah, just that thought make you like, I wish somebody would. So think about it. He'll never see his daughter again. Yeah. And so his training, his fuel, all of this is probably why he's so dialed in to his boxing. And I like watching Caleb Plant fight, man. I want to see him. I like watching Canelo fight. I want to see the fight. I like watching Benavidez fight. You know what I'm saying? I like watching Errol Spence fight. I like watching Josh Taylor fight. I like watching Tank Davis, Teofimo Lopez. I like watching Ryan Garcia fight. I like watching all these guys fight. I like watching, Anthony Joshua fight. I like watching Tyson Fury fight. I like watching these guys fight. You understand what I'm saying? I like watching these guys fight. I like to see the you know, when it comes to Wilder, his fights is always has been people expect the right hand to land. You know, and like I said, I'm like, man, if this dude just start getting some truth. So let's see how he looks. Because I want to see Wilder fight. I want to see these guys fight. And I hope to see great fights. That's the whole point. But you fanboys and fangirls don't seem to understand that. You're all just one way. No, it's rah-rah, you know, Tyson Fury. Or it's rah-rah, Terrence Crawford. Yo, get your panties out your ass crack and stop acting like a bunch of little bitches and understand that. Aries is not here to cater to your fucking personal feelings, man. I'm here to talk boxing news. And that's why I connect with certain people on a different level, because if you have no intelligence and you're sitting there talking off your emotions, man, don't even leave comments. Don't even say shit to me. Go say that for another channel. If you want to sit here and act like a little baby, like I'm supposed to sit here. Basically, the way some of you are, a conversation would be me talking to you. Hey, listen, okay, now what Aries is telling me, let me wipe your chin. Okay, what Aries is telling you is, I don't dislike the fighter that you like. But what I'm saying is, this guy over here is definitely a worthy of, oh, shh, come on, don't cry. Okay, don't cry. Uncle Aries got you. Just listen to me. He might win, okay? So just keep hope alive, all right? Now get on out of here, you. This is exactly how it's like daycare shit, like talking to a bunch of children, man. I don't care nothing about that. You got people sitting here calling, grown men calling other men gods. Calling guys unstoppable machines and breaking their names down and giving little acronyms to them and all. I mean, like, are you serious? Like, what the hell are you? I don't think like that, man. You're just a man who sweat, bleed, shit, piss, drink, fart, do all kinds of other shit that other human beings do. There's nothing special about you. You may be better than certain other fighters. You may be the best fighter in your division. But at the same time, you're just a man. And that's exactly what the fuck I see. I am not into this, whatever. Listen, man, you know, I've met several famous people. I don't feel the need to go over there and acknowledge them. Ain't that what it is? Yeah, listen. Yeah, so blah, 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 this and this. And that's how it goes. Why do I need to go over there and take a picture with you? Why do I need to go over there? Oh, can I have your autograph? Oh, I'm a fan. No. You know, what we need, in all honesty, what boxing could use is people with some kind of intelligence that can actually break things down. You know, and look at things for what they are. You're always going to have ignorance. You're always going to have bias. Nothing will ever be perfect. But I just see so much nonsense. You know, I took the time to do this video this way because I wanted you guys to really focus on how a person can say one thing and somebody completely remix that shit. Like, that is not what the fuck this person just said. I've had it happen to me with people. I say one thing and, you know, I remember simply saying how, you know, I wanted to see AJ versus Fury. But I also feel like AJ should honor his mandatories first. Don't give up your. I don't know if you guys remember these videos, and I'm like, don't. Why would you let them strip you of your WBO? You know, just so Usyk can you know, so Usyk and what's his name can fight for it, and then you can fight Fury, and then later on you know, if you beat Fury, you and Usyk, whoever wins between him and Joyce, fight your mandatory. Don't give up your title. Fight your mandatory. Now, after all of that, look at the situation. And someone goes, oh man, why are people so against AJ fighting Fury? First of all, asshole, I never said, if it was you clearly, what the fuck did I start the sentence off with? I want to see AJ and Fury for undisputed more than any of these other heavyweight fights. But I do think he should honor his mandatories. And I've always felt like that. Look at what's at stake. He loses his title if he doesn't fight. If Usyk decides he doesn't want to cooperate and he says, nah, man, well, only way is if I get a chance to fight for that title. You got to get that title up, or however it's going to go, and the sanctioning bodies, you know, decide, well, this is how it has to be. Why? You want to, because first off, you're derailing yourself for becoming undisputed. And then on top of that, you don't know what's going to happen down the line. So you don't know. That person might duck you. Shit might happen. You got to have shit stipulations and contracts and all this, and things don't happen exactly the way you want it to. If that's the case, he could simply cooperate. Why have you go through the whole process of losing your title? So I felt like, no, that was your dream, your goal, to be undisputed, man. Follow that shit through. Don't drop your title just to fight Fury. Like, he's bigger than the title. And I remember they asked AJ, do you feel like fighting Fury is bigger than undisputed? And he said yes. And I'm like, bullshit, man. That's AJ's the way he see it. I don't see it like that. There's no fucking one person bigger, okay? Not one person bigger than the sport of boxing itself. Okay, Muhammad Ali wasn't bigger than the sport of boxing. Okay, Hulk Hogan wasn't bigger than the sport of wrestling, even though people say he wasn't. No, he wasn't. No, he was the biggest star, the biggest impact at one point, not bigger than boxing, okay? Wrestling did not end because of Hulk Hogan. It didn't start because of Hulk Hogan. Boxing didn't start because of Muhammad Ali, and it didn't end because of Muhammad Ali. So at one point, you were the most popular entity there. You know, Wayne Gretzky was the most popular and most beloved hockey player at one point. But was he bigger than hockey? No. Michael Jordan was not bigger than basketball, but he was the biggest star. And even to this day, his name still holds weight. You know, not just through his basketball playing in all the championship rings, even from his shoe brand, his clothing, all that. Michael Jordan's name is still there. He's not bigger than basketball, though. Okay, basketball didn't start with him and it didn't end with him. And that 90s Bull era was my favorite era in basketball overall. But no, there's nobody bigger. You're not bigger than the sport that you're in. If you are, then really that means you have to gain some kind of immense popularity outside of it first. And then you came to this sport, some sport that's just not that big, so you get attention because you have a following from what you did. You know, whatever you was like. Look at Jake Paul and Logan Paul. These guys are YouTubers. These dudes have more fans than the actual fighters. Okay? Than actual fighters, and have headlined over Devin Haney. So you tell me, in what I'm saying, why is it hard to see the point? So, you know, you're not bigger than the sport. Nobody is. Nobody is, man. And everybody who I named, if you can remember the time that they was around, you can remember all the accolades and how the crowds was going crazy. And now look, it's a whole different fucking crop of people in here now. It's like, damn, where did the time go? That's just the way it is, man. There's nobody bigger than the sport of boxing, man. I don't care who you are. So, I thought this was an interesting interview. I like this interview. Caleb Plant is a laid-back, cool guy, man. If you know this by now, you know. I have more respect towards people who just lay back and don't have to do all this shit talking. You know what I'm saying? All the loud mouth, the big mouths, they just like, you know, all of that talking, they need that psychological edge. That's what they need. That's why they do it. Because like I always tell you, it's not you they're trying to convince. It's themselves. They're trying to convince themselves that I can knock you out. I can beat you. They're trying to convince themselves that they can do this. And when you start doubting yourself, you already lost, man. I mean, you go in the ring thinking you can't win. Then what? Quick story before I exit out of here, okay? There was a time where I used to go to this park. Now, this park, we used to hoop over there. Had a big football field, a soccer field, everything, tennis court. We love this park over there, you know. And they had a workout station there, big, nice one, pull-ups, dips, all kind of, you know, just nice park. So I used to go out there, winter, spring, summer, fall. I used to go out there, work out. We used to go out there and shovel the snow off the basketball court and play ball. We used to go out there and play football in the snow. We used to love this park, man. Well, there was one guy who was out there. He was bigger than everybody, probably stronger. In all honesty, I don't think he was stronger than me. Bigger, yes. You know, he was heavier. I don't think pound for pound physically. I don't think physically he was stronger than me. It wouldn't matter anyway. But he put a lot of fear in people. Now, mind you, we're not signed to the NFL or no football organization making money. We're just playing because we love, you know, out there, hey, out there having a good time. Men, we're warriors. Let's go out here and play some football. And this guy used to try to hit people, like he would really try to hurt you. And you know, everybody saw it. Now, I'm like this tall. He's like here to me. So we're playing ball. And people was afraid to like just tell him, hey yo, cool out with that. Yo, we're not playing, we don't have $1 million contracts for this, bro. Calm your ass down. No, they were scared to say that shit to him. Behind his back, they were, man, this dude, man, you don't know, man, he be trying to hurt people. I'm like, you know, I can hold my own. I'm strong as a fucking ox, so I know anything you try to me, I'm gonna make sure I do worse to you. So I remember this guy, we're playing. He's on the opposite team with me, right? And the guy that was, quarterbacking, about 150 pounds, maybe 5'10", 5'11", somewhere around that. But about 150 pounds, skinny guy. He was toned but slim, real like slim guy. And he had a Terry Norris type build, okay? About Terry Norris weight. And he was, going back to throw the ball. This big motherfucker come busting through the line. And I remember I saw him. I was about to get a screen pass. And I saw him like duck down. And he really tried to, that was not even necessary, man. Just grab the guy. He could even slap the ball out of his hand, which is what I would have did. Okay, because we're just trying to play for fun, to win, but we're not trying to hurt each other. And this dude, he hit him so hard, man. Now, this dude has to be about 6'8", 6'9", maybe. Probably a good 290. And, he hit him so hard because he's so light. Like, the way he hit that ground, man, when I grabbed the football, I hit him right in his face. Bam! And then I ran over there, took him off his feet, and I just pummeled the shit out of this guy, man. And that day, and when I finished, I stood up off him, and I drug his big ass off the field, and I said, we missing a man. Somebody want to fill in for him? Everybody was just standing there looking at me like, oh. But the people who knew me, they knew like, yo, Aries don't take shit from nobody. So, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just looking at this dude, and they kind of like, oh, what happened when he wake up? If he start tripping, I'm going to knock his ass out again. How about that? So, he came through. And when he came through, I said, y'all move, spread out, move. So he got up, I got in my ear, let's go. He's sitting there looking stupid. He just left. He ain't say nothing to nobody. He held his face, got up, and just left. Now, I'm saying all that just to say this. People who know me know I don't take shit, and they know I can hold my own. People that know me, really know me, know. Ain't worried about nobody beating Aries. People who know of me and see me, my gentleman persona, and see I'm a cool, laid-back guy, if ahead of time, if I would have said, if he starts tripping, I'm going to whoop his ass, you know what they'd have been saying? No, Aries, that dude, I know you big, man, but that dude is huge. Like, yo, he's, like, yo, he tall, like, man, yo, That's why, because perception. Their fears, okay, that they have for themselves, they'd have been putting those same fears, looking at me through their eyes of fear, like, yo, that dude, because of his physical size. And when I saw him again, was probably about maybe a month and a half, 2 months later, something like that. And he just saw me, saw you. I just looked at him, never gave me no trouble. Lesson was learned. He was nothing but a bully. But if I'd have been thinking like everybody else, when he hit this guy, and then he hurt him bad. When he hit him, in fact, that guy, he broke his ribs. Now, here you are, out here playing for fun, got 2 little girls at home, and now you're going to be out of work until your ribs heal. Because some stupid jackass decides he wants to be Mr. Bully. This is not necessary. And understand, he knew what he was doing. He wasn't out here playing for fun to win. No, he just liked hurting people. So my thing is, even if you don't believe in me, I believe in me. So if I'm sitting here scared and thinking like everybody else, I wouldn't have did nothing but stood back and let him fight for himself. And that guy, we had to get the ambulance for him. He messed him up, man. And we didn't know. And after all that, and he walked away, and the guy's like, man, I'm in pain. He's like, I can't. He's breathing. And he was like, oh shit, like, yo, like, what's up? Like, you know. And anyway, somebody called the ambulance. The ambulance came and got him, and yeah, he broke his ribs, man. So, how do you as a fighter win a fight? By thinking you can't. And I remember Muhammad Ali telling a story, you know, even in his movie. I'm not even talking about the Will Smith version, you know, the version with Ali himself, you know, the greatest. But even him telling that story about how when he was fighting George Foreman, how he's walking to the ring and everybody's just looking down and scared. He said, well, everybody looking so damn scared for? Like we're going to a funeral or something. And like he told him, how am I going to win a fight if I'm thinking like yo? And that's just what it comes down to. And this is just common sense, man. You know, I wouldn't train my fighter and sit there and tell my fighter, hey, look, now, truth is, he going to whoop your ass. But I want you to at least just, you know, understand he gonna beat the snot out you. But I want you to at least, you know, just try to look good, man. Like at least for a round or two, or half a round. Just try to throw something. But he gonna whoop your ass, though. Because this is what you might as well tell your fighter. I don't see you winning this fight, man. You know, maybe you'll get lucky and land something. So, you know, all the hatred that people show Caleb Plant, man, is for some reason, they always, like, even if you think Canelo's going to win, that's fine. If you think Canelo's going to knock him out, that's fine. Why are y'all calling this guy a bum? And it's funny, you got people who can't win a title. Guys like Luis Ortiz who never won shit. And call him the boogeyman, call him the monster, call him the most avoided fight in the division. But then you take a guy who's won titles, who is a champion. Oh, he's a bum. He ain't fought nobody. Okay, well, who the hell did Luis Ortiz fight? Who? The worst boxer that he fought that we know of is Deontay Wilder. And he outboxed him and got knocked out both times. We know that Wilder always lacked technical skills, but he still what Luis Ortiz knew. If he was as great as people said, then he wouldn't have lost to Wilder. They always talk about what he did because he's Cuban, like that's a plus. Okay, yeah. Luis Ortiz was a decent fighter. Nothing special about Luis Ortiz. And I've always said that. It's not a knock on the guy. Just reality. And I tell you, show me how many championships he's won. Show me his resume and show me all these great opponents he's fought. So if you calling Caleb Plant a bum who's won a title at 17 on his 17th fight, and a guy like Luis Ortiz who ain't won shit, and was more effective in the amateurs than he was in the pros. So show me where I'm fucking wrong. And at the end of the day, you know, for all of this talk about Caleb being a bum, like I said, Benavidez being a bum, the Charlos being bums, and Andre, everybody's a bum. Well, then y'all tell me who the perfect fighter is. I guess maybe there's some actual God for real. Maybe he can fight Zeus. Maybe he can fight Loki and Thor. Because it's obvious that human beings can't compete with Canelo. He's in a division. No matter what division he goes in, anybody who's the number one guy or a champion in that division, they're a bum. But you take somebody who's not a champion, never been a champion, who's not even worthy. You know, that's why I bring up that Yildirim guy. Because it's like, yo, y'all sit here and hate Chris Eubanks and call Eubanks trash and say Eubanks don't even deserve a fight with Canelo. But he beat the same guy that Canelo fought. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, Canelo is a great fighter. Give him his props. But all that worshiping people and he's a god and he's a man. So anyway, I want to see that fight. You know, I do remember Caleb Plant saying he was supposed to be fighting in September. So I doubt that's Canelo. Because, you know, he would have said, well, me and Canelo, we want to get on in September. You know, but either way, however it goes, if Caleb Plant isn't next, for Canelo to want to be undisputed and for Caleb to want to be undisputed. If Canelo is not next, for Caleb, if that's not the next fight, we don't know who either guy's going to fight. Maybe Canelo just fought, so Canelo, what is it now? It's May. Canelo probably won't fight again. He probably won't fight again until September, if that would be the fight. But it will be afterwards. So if Caleb fights somebody in September, Canelo might wind up fighting somebody in the summer. and it probably won't be somebody noteworthy. Take an easy fight. I just fought, Billy Joe Saunders. Let me take an easy fight, and then, I'll get in there, sometime against Caleb Plant. Probably by the fall, by the winter. Who knows? But however it goes, man. Either way, this is a fight that should happen. I want to see a great fight. And again, Caleb Plant has the tools. How he puts it together in the ring, and it goes for Canelo, that goes for every fighter. How they put it all together in the ring is what it's going to come down to. So anyway, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And again, if y'all want to see this whole video, it's on Fight Hub TV. And it's a good video. Check it out. I will catch y'all on the next video.